everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari ST A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari ST games, some of which I grew up with and some of which are new to me. Today is sort of one of the former. Today we're looking at Gremlins 2, which was a 1990 release from Elite for Atari ST, and a very different game from the more well-known Gremlins 2 game for NES and Game Boy, which was developed by Sunsoft. Now the reason I say this is sort of one that I grew up with is the fact that I have a copy of it, and I grew up with it, but it wouldn't run on any of the Atari STs we owned in our time when they were current. So we had an early model 520 ST on which it didn't work, and then later we had a 1MB STE on which it didn't work either. In fact, if you look, you probably can't see that in the video though, but there's a little label at the top of the packaging there which says it should work on Atari ST or STE, 520 ST or STE, and 100% compatible systems. But no, it didn't work on any of them. However, you may recall a long time ago I mentioned that we used to hang out with my brother's girlfriend's father. He was also my clarinet teacher at the time, and he had a 1040 ST-FM, and it worked on that machine. So on a couple of occasions when we went over to visit them and I was allowed into the ST room to go and play video games while the adults did all their boring talking downstairs, I actually had the opportunity to play this game a couple of times. So since I've got the box here, let's have a bit of a look at it. So we've already seen the front cover. Here's the back with a few screenshots. So, Gremlins 2, the new batch. We told you, remember the rules. Don't expose them to bright lights, don't get them wet, and under no circumstances feed them after midnight. You didn't listen. Gremlins 2, the new batch. Here they grow again. See, clever puns. Very good. I think I've seen Gremlins 2, but certainly not for a very long time. I don't remember a lot about the movie. I don't remember a lot about the first Gremlins either. I've definitely seen that one though. Alright, let's see what else we've got in the box. We've got a little manual here, which is in multiple languages. Yeah, and inside the manual we've got, try not to shine light on it, we've got a bit of narrative here, which we'll have a look at in a sec. And we've got some details on all the enemy characters that you'll encounter as well. Plus what all the weapons you'll find are. So to set up for Gremlins 2, it's sort of loosely based on the movie. It's been a number of years since the Gremlins TM Night of Carnage in the peaceful town of Kingston Falls TM, and Gizmo TM, the sweet Mogwai TM, is back under the protection of Mr. Wing TM, the old storekeeper in New York's Chinatown. Mr. Wing TM has been rejecting offers from super tycoon Daniel Clamp TM to buy his store to clear the way for a large real estate development. But the old man passes away, and after a few months, Clamp Plaza TM is now a reality. God, there's so many TMs in this passage here. This is the sort of thing that like LucasArts was mocking in its Monkey Island games, where a lot of its dialogue was peppered with TMs and so on. But this is insane because they've used a TM every time something comes up, not just the first time. Anyway, continuing. Working in the complex, which contains shops, restaurant, a stock brokerage and cable TV network, are Billy Peltzer, Gizmo's previous owner, and his girlfriend Kate. Now Billy is a commercial artist in the Clamp advertising department, and Kate is a tour guide for the complex. Unbeknown to Billy and Kate, Gizmo is now a prisoner in Clamp's genetics laboratory awaiting experimentation. But when Billy hears a messenger absent-mindedly humming Gizmo's familiar song, he realizes his Mogwai friend is nearby. Billy manages to find Gizmo and free him. Billy leaves Gizmo in what he thinks is the safety of his desk drawer with instructions for Kate to pick up the Mogwai after work. However, Gizmo decides to explore Billy's office and accidentally becomes wet as a maintenance man tries to fix a faulty drinking fountain. The four new Mogwais, Mohawk, Lenny, George and Daffy, immediately dump Gizmo into a vent and head off into the vast Clamp Plaza to make mischief. And so on, it continues from there. So, this is basically an action platformer where you run through a series of flick screen stages and you shoot gremlins with various weaponry. So you start with like a torch which fires out beams of light, and then there's all sorts of other weapons you can get as well. You can like throw tomatoes and telephones and stuff at people. Like a lot of games of this type of the period, this is very hard, so I'm not going to promise we're going to get very far in this playthrough, but it should give you an idea of what it's all about anyway. Alright, so let's go play Gremlins 2, the new batch. Okay, here we are with Gremlins 2, the new batch by Elite for Atari ST. I am joined by my cat Patty, who is probably going to try and interrupt at some point, so if that happens, I do apologise. Anyway, here we are. So, you can play this 1 or 2 player. I was going to go through the menu there, but my controller wasn't working properly. And it is now, so here we go. Anyway, you are Billy TM as you proceed through the whatever it was, shopping mall or whatever it was. Anyway, so you can shoot your torch, because that's how torches work. You can jump by pushing up or up and diagonal. And you have to make your way through the various levels and not get killed by gremlins. This is a very difficult game. Oops. It's kind of a game about memorizing enemy attack patterns more than anything. Because you'll notice that the enemies appear in the same place every time, so... if you just make sure that you're in the right place to be able to deal with them, and yeah, you'll have a lot more luck than I'm having right now. Like I say, I have some quite fond memories of this game because I sort of associate it with those visits to my brother's girlfriend's father's house, or my clarinet teacher's house, I should say. And I was always kind of annoyed that we had this copy of this game and we weren't able to play it. I don't know why. To this day, I don't know why. Because the copy we played at his house was our copy. And like the only difference between our machines was that he had an STFM and we had, like I say, a not quite original model 520 ST because it had TOS built in rather than boot from disk. Oh, that's impossible. Game over already. Very good. Yeah, so the only thing I can think of that it probably was, which was usually the cause of most Atari ST incompatibility issues, was that he had a different version of the ST operating system. Enter your name. I don't really feel like I deserve that, but whatever. Pete. E. Ace rocking Brill deaf. Okay, come on, no way. Oh dear, oh no, Tom Dick. Evidently I've knocked Harry off the scoreboard. Right, anyway, let's have another go. I just found the sound in this game quite interesting. Because rather unusually, it's a mix of PSG sounds from the Yamaha sound chip in the Atari ST and digitized sounds. As normally, what a lot of developers did is they go all in on one or the other. You'd either have a game that was all PSG sounds and no digitized sounds, or all digitized sounds and no PSG sounds whatsoever. So I found this quite interesting that it used a mix of both. And it managed to do so without the game sort of slowing down or becoming sluggish or anything like that. Or like interrupting. Well, that guy in the jetpack wasn't there before. He's not very pleasant. But yeah, you couple that with the colourful graphics, the nice animation, you've got a game that's you've got a game that's presented really well. Unfortunately, I suspect 90% of players aren't going to see very much of it, just because it's so busted hard. And a little bit unpredictable, like why did he drop down off the platform there and not anywhere else? Okay, so if we deal with him, jump up and shoot him, then we can sneak across. Getting those R's seems to summon Gizmo, who doesn't do very much of use. These bubbles are credits that you can... I believe there's a shop in between levels, but again, I don't think I've ever finished the first level in this game. So I couldn't tell you what you could buy in the shop, because... well, see for yourself. It's this screen. This screen, every time. Alright, let's just be ready for the guy behind. There we go. Are those filing cabinets... Oh, you shit! Those filing cabinets with the drawers popping out of them, you can actually jump on the drawers to get to higher places. There's sometimes not a lot of point in doing that, but occasionally that can help you reach some bonuses that are a little bit higher up. Alright, I'm getting a feel for this. Getting a feel for this. Let's give it another go. Now, I don't remember a thing about the Gremlins movies because it's been an absolute age since I've seen either of them. But I do remember being quite impressed that the music in this was pretty true to the movie. So that's something. And I believe all the enemies you encounter this are sort of gremlins that appeared in the movie. So that's pretty cool. However, the actual action you're engaging in is not really what the movie was about. But the same could be said as the much more well-known NES version from Sunsoft, which is a top-down adventure where you control gizmos, I remember rightly. And you sort of have to jump over platforms and holes in the floor and all sorts of things, and it's a bit of a git to get through, I believe. No one coming out the side? No, good. Oh, I see. That's why they give you the two-way shot there, because the guy comes up... Oh, so annoying! That's why they give you the two-way shot there, because the guy comes up behind you, and if you got the two-way shot, you can get him. But unfortunately, if you die, then you don't get to keep the two-way shot anymore. I hate the tomatoes. They're such a terrible weapon. Because they fly in an arc, and they fly over the head of anything immediately in front of you, so you can't do point-blank shots with them. Alright, making reasonable progress. No, I have got this far before. I don't think I've got past this screen before, so let's see if we can at least exceed my previous best. And you have to run past those lockers before they fall on you, because they will kill you as well, of course, because everything kills you in this game. Health bars are for pussies. One hit kills for the win. There we go. Gotta be ready for those ones coming out the side. Right, I think. I was about to say, I thought we were into virgin territory there, but I vaguely recognise that screen, although most of the screens do look quite similar. Let's have another go, because despite this being monstrously difficult, I am quite enjoying it. As far as movie license game goes, I mean, it's not amazing or anything, but I've definitely played far worse than this. Movie tie-in games in the late 8-bit and early 16-bit era in particular were notorious for being absolutely terrible. And one company we've not really seen a lot of on this series so far is Ocean, who tended to end up doing most of them. We've seen their Batman game from a while back. And that's not terrible. It's not terrible. I mean, it's not great either, but Ocean did put out a fair few duffers in terms of movie license games, but they also did some good ones as well. Like, I remember their RoboCop games being pretty good. Although, so far as RoboCop games go, it's hard to beat Robocop 3, which was actually a completely original game with polygonal graphics and all sorts of interesting bits and pieces that you'd normally expect to see in like flight simulations. And so that's the point. I've not played that on this series, and I've never actually played that for myself, and it always looks super cool. So next time we... Oh, I got the tomatoes again. So next time we get around to R, I might have to have a look at that for myself, because I remember that being exceptionally well received by magazines at the time. Quite how well it holds up today remains to be seen, but well, like I say, we'll see. Yeah, this game really is about learning those attack patterns of who's going to appear when, and anticipating and knowing when it's safe to move and when you need to turn around and deal with things that are coming from behind. And I've done that wrong already. Yep. So basically we need to move in a bit, turn around, shoot the guy from behind, immediately turn around and shoot these guys, wait for this guy to come in, blast him out of the way, run through here without getting flattened, fire here to get the pogo guy, and then we clear that screen. Very good. So for this one, we deal with him. We deal with him. We wait for... Oh. We pass underneath the arc of his tomatoes. And they land where that cabinet is. I see you actually got a visual cue there to help you. We duck there and wait for him to do that. No! He has a variable arc on his tomatoes. How dare he? How dare he have a variable arc on his tomatoes? Right, let's have one more try. Because I would love to finish the first level. Because like I say, I don't think that's something I've ever achieved in this game. This is the last try though. This is the last try. Oh, I'm not bottom of the heap anymore. I've knocked Dick down to last place. Anyway. Go for it, Billy. TM. I was astonished at the number of TMs in that manual. It's outrageous. It was like worse than a Disney... anything by Disney. Get the frisbee, because that's nice and long range. Run on through, get him. Be prepared for anything to come from the right. There we go. Deal with him. Oh, no. You also need to kind of control yourself in how many shots you fire as well, because there can only be a certain number on screen at once. And while it's tempting to just immediately blow your load of full shots and just make sure that you kill things, especially those things that have more than one hit point, it can leave you defenseless if you're not careful. Oh, we dodged him that time. That's good. Alright, let's just sneak through. Get the double-ended torch of pleasure. Don't get hit by tomatoes. Oh no! No! Duck! No, wait. And be ready. And fire! And run! And swear at getting the tomatoes. Oh. It's not a complete disaster for once. Now it is. Hooray! That doesn't mean we get the torch back. Got 3 credits to spend in the shop this time. 3 whole credits. Right, how did this one go? Like that. And then he comes in. Yeah, so games like this, as with a lot of arcade style games, once you realise that you're basically playing a puzzle of sorts, it becomes a lot more fun. Oh, you dick.
I say puzzle, it's a test of memory rather than a true puzzle, I guess. Oh, that's it. It's all over. I think that's probably more than enough of Gremlins 2, the new batch for now. We will let them take over the city with their... whatever that is. Like I say, I remember nothing about the movie, so that's probably a reference to the movie, but... well, we're done. Anyway, Gremlins 2, the new batch for Atari ST, by some Spanish company I've forgotten the name of. Toposoft and Motive Time. There you go. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. New episodes of Atari A to Z are on Tuesdays and Atari ST A to Z on Thursdays. Check out atariatoz.wordpress.com for a full archive. Do please also check out my other projects moegamer.net, where I explore Japanese and Japanese-inspired games from yesterday and today, and videopackgames.wordpress.com, which aims to catalogue the small but well-formed library of the Philips G7000 Videopack computer, also known as the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You can also support my work on Patreon or buy me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.